Hello, everybody. This is Gary. Today is October 27th, 2021. It's 12:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States in Rochester, New York. And this is my coping with schizophrenia blog entry for today. Today I'm doing pretty good. I'm getting a lot of my motivation back. My negative symptoms seem to be under better control. I started doing my online work again. I do consumer surveys for extra spending money. It takes me about several hours a day. It keeps me busy, keeps my mind focused. I started exercising again. I have an indoor exercise bike. I don't like to ride my bike out during the fall and winter when it's too cold. And it's about 43 degrees here in Rochester, New York today. Yesterday was even a little bit colder and it was raining. And I'm not really inclined to take my bike outside when it starts to get cold and when it starts to get rainy. Certainly not when it's snowing. But I am exercising again. I am overweight, which is a symptom that tends to come with taking a medication like Seroquel. Seroquel has a tendency to increase your appetite. You never feel satiated. You're always eating. This is why Seroquel has been attributed to causing diabetes. The makers of Seroquel have paid out money to people who sued them for having diabetes. I don't have diabetes. I've been checked numerous times for diabetes, but I'm definitely overweight. I'm about 217 pounds, which is pretty heavy for me. Somebody my height, I'm 5'9". So I'm definitely overweight by the standards of my height compared to my weight. Every time I go to see my psychiatrist, before I see the psychiatric nurse takes my blood pressure and checks my weight. And my blood pressure also tends to run pretty high. So I'm on blood pressure medication. And I just quit smoking. So I'm hoping that will help reduce my blood pressure. But one of my problems with blood pressure might be related back to my weight. I definitely need to control how much I eat, be more focused on what I'm eating. Eating less junk food is important. Eating more vegetables and fruits. I mean, I've been through all this before. I got my weight up to around 265 pounds, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. My general practitioner doctor prescribed an appetite suppressant, and I lost 70 or 80 pounds on that. But those kinds of appetite suppressants are dangerous because they're stimulants. They act the same way as amphetamines and methamphetamines act. They stimulate you. They cause mania, euphoria, and can definitely be addictive the same way amphetamines, and Ritalin can be addictive. The appetite suppressant that I was taking back then was definitely a controlled substance. It's a drug called phentermine. It used to be part of a drug diet combination called fen-phen. One of the drugs was taken off the market for being a cause of heart valve problems and heart failure. And I was taking the other one for losing weight because I had tried losing weight by buying a treadmill and changing my diet, and I just couldn't seem to lose the weight. So my primary care physician prescribed an appetite suppressant, but those drugs are kind of dangerous. One time I had a drug test when I was on the appetite suppressant, and it came back positive for amphetamine, which shows just how closely related phentermine as a diet pill is related chemically to amphetamines. I don't think my primary care physician that I have now is going to prescribe me a stimulant um, for my appetite suppressant. They are dangerous. They are physically addictive. They can cause manic states and euphoric states. Um, at one point, I was getting phentermine illegally off the internet, and I was taking a lot of it. And I would often go 3 or 4 days without sleep. Because of it, I'd be euphoric and manic. But like all drugs, that's temporary. You stop trying to pursue the original high that you had when you first started abusing the drug. And I was actually abusing the drug before my primary care physician prescribed it for weight loss. Um, they were aware that I had a history of abusing it, but they prescribed it anyway. And I did lose the weight, and I continued to exercise and change my diet. But then I went back to my old ways of eating junk food, being on a high dose of Seroquel, and gaining weight again. So I'm going to have to go back to watching what I eat and exercising again. But like I said, my negative symptoms, which include depression, apathy, lack of enjoyment in things, lack of interest in life, um, those are very common symptoms of schizophrenia and schizoaffective disorder. But my motivation is starting to come back for whatever reasons. I'm more motivated to do my work online. I'm more motivated to exercise. More motivated to make videos like this one. Um, Negative symptoms are hard to treat in schizophrenia. They don't respond that well to medications. The medications are better for controlling the positive symptoms of schizophrenia, which are symptoms that are added to the personality that are not normally there, like hearing voices, seeing things that aren't there, paranoia and other delusions, hallucinations in the five senses, that kind of thing. The medications are better for the positive symptoms than the negative symptoms. The difference between positive symptoms and negative symptoms is positive symptoms are those things that are added to the personality that a healthy person would not normally have, like hallucinations and delusions and paranoia. And negative symptoms are those attributes that take away from the personality that a healthy person would have, like apathy, no interest in life, no enjoyment in life, no interest in enjoying anything, whether that's work, food, sex, hobbies, friendships, romance, just about anything you can think of could be affected by negative symptoms. But it generally involves just not enjoying life and not being motivated to do anything. Um, my motivation was shot to hell around May of this year when I had to wear a urinary catheter because I couldn't urinate. And I had to wear the urinary catheter for 4 months, which means I had a tube into my bladder extending down to a leg bag that collected the urine. I had prostate surgery and surgery on my bladder that allowed me to start urinating again. And ever since I had the catheter taken out, I've had more of my motivation coming back, less medical problems, means of more motivation for me. So I'm starting to get back to my daily schedule instead of just spending hours watching YouTube. One of the things I use to fight my negative symptoms is listening to music and getting an upbeat mood from that and feeling more enjoyment from that, and then extending that to doing other things like exercise. And if I don't have the motivation to do something to begin with, I'll force myself to do it, even if I don't have any enjoyment in doing it and I don't really want to do it. Sometimes you have to force yourself to start doing something to get the wheels kind of oiled, so to speak, and then you start enjoying it. Once you start doing it, and that's one way I fight negative symptoms. But I'm doing a lot better over the past couple of weeks than I have for quite some time. The work I do online is consumer surveys for extra money. It doesn't pay a whole lot, but it keeps me busy, keeps my mind concentrated, which is important with my disorganized thinking, my confused thinking. If I can do something that helps my concentration, then I will do that. I also started meditating again, which I haven't done since, I don't know, December of last year when I first moved into this apartment. The move was difficult, um, but I did complete it. This apartment is a lot better than my old one. It's bigger, it's less claustrophobic, it's cleaner, and I try to keep it as clean as possible. Um, I just renewed my lease for another year, so I should be okay as far as having a place to live, as long as I pay my bills on time, which I always do. I pay my internet bill on time, my telephone bill on time, my rent on time. My rent surprisingly didn't go up according to the lease contract that I signed. It actually went down by $2, which I was surprised because everything else is going up. Like everybody else, I'm worried about inflation. I just went grocery shopping at Price Rite a couple of days ago. I spent $100 on groceries that normally would have cost $60 or $70. When I go shopping for food, I buy the same things that I always buy because I keep a list, and prices are definitely going up. I spend $30 or $40 more than I normally would have on groceries. Something that should have cost $60 or $70 cost me $100. So inflation is definitely a problem. I don't own a car, so I'm not dealing with gasoline prices. And like I already said, my rent didn't go up, which was surprising. But everything else seems to be going up. I bought a new winter jacket on Amazon. It cost me $100. I thought that was kind of steep for a winter jacket, but I bought it because I liked the way it looked, and it does keep me warm. I wore it outside yesterday. It protects well against the rain, the snow, and the cold. Um, but prices on everything seem to be going up. And like anybody with a mental illness, it's difficult to deal with high inflation. And for the general population, it's hard to deal with high inflation. One of the things I've been doing to try to not aggravate myself is watch too much about politics. I don't want to be devoid of keeping up on current events. So I go through a routine when I wake up in the morning. I have Bing as my main search engine. And when I turn on my computer and turn on um, when I turn on Bing, it starts with a list of news articles which I read through, and I try to restrict my news intake to that. It takes about a half hour to go through all these different articles. I don't want to spend hours and hours of watching videos on politics and religion and race because it all tends to aggravate me and make my symptoms worse. So I advise people not to get too involved into politics um, and news, especially if you have a particular ideology and you watch videos for or against your personal ideology. If you do that for 4 or 5, 6 hours, like I was doing, just aggravate yourself and make yourself angry, which is bound to make your symptoms of schizophrenia even worse. So I advise people not to spend too much time in politics and news and race and religion. I do make videos on race, religion, and politics from time to time. I consider myself to be in the political center. Um, and I do make videos like that from time to time, especially about my atheism and how that might relate to politics. Um, but I try not to aggravate myself too much with news and politics. So comment, like, share, subscribe. If you want to donate to my channel, I'll put a PayPal link in the description. Press the notification bell to know when I put out new videos. And if you want me to do a video on a specific topic, let me know in the comments section.